All right, this video tutorial will be showing you how to do step 5 of the practice interview. So if you have up your steps for the practice interview, um, that will be where you import the interview itself into Rush. We're going to type out answers word for word on the Q&A document. We will not paraphrase. We have to cut the video. Um, up when we get it in Rush, deleting answer or deleting questions. We're going to insert a yellow background between each answer, make it around a second long. And then when done, the only thing left in Rush will be the answers. And between each answer will be a yellow background. Okay, so we're only focusing on question number or step number 5. So first of all, we need a yellow background. So let's head out to Google and do a quick search for a yellow background. I'm just going to take this first one that I see right here, not a big deal. You could use any color actually that you want. So you just right click, you save the image as, and then just make sure you get it into um, your practice folder, your practice interview folder. So there's my practice interview folder, and then definitely name it like yellow background. Okay. And then just save it in there so you have something to use for this step. Okay. All right. So we need to get Rush going. So start up your Rush program. And again, at any time, you can go ahead and pause this video and then come back to it as you need to move on to the next step. And if you have any questions, of course, you can interview or email me or anything like that if you are in need of anything. Okay, so when we are now in Rush, we need to create a new project. We're going to call the project practice interview. Make sure it is not synced with Creative Cloud, so no check mark in there. And then we need to select something to get our project started. So in your practice interview folder, go into the interview not edited folder and take the, let's see, what one we got, 1080, we got 7, let's take the 721. We're just kind of, it's okay if we don't have a high quality video right now. We're not, this is just kind of practice. So let's just take the 721 that we see there and go ahead and hit create. And that should give us the beginning of our project that we are working on. There we go. Okay. So what we have here is about almost 2 minutes, minute and 53 seconds of an interview that was conducted with Mr. Anderson, okay, one of our teachers. And this is from a few years ago, so it's not timely. You can change the Zoom as you need to change it at whatever point that you want. I'm just going to leave mine where it is. And this is what we have. You might want to make sure that it's playing okay and that you can hear him. I'm just going to do a little test right here.
Quiet on the set?
Quiet on the set.
Okay.
Okay, so we can hear it and everything like that, so we're doing okay. All right, so if we go back here, we just did that step, import the interview video into Rush. Now, what we want to do is we want to type out the answers to the questions that we ask Mr. Anderson. When we type out the answers, we do not want to paraphrase any of his answers. We want to type them exactly as he says them. You need to get up your Q&A document. And remember, these are the 9 questions that we asked Mr. Anderson in that video that we just imported. And you can see we have his answers written out word for number 6, 7, 8, and 9. Questions 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay. And what you and I are going to do is we are going to write out his answers to questions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, just to give you some practice as to how you actually will go about doing that. Okay. So we have to type out the answers word for word. We have to cut the video up, deleting all the questions, and insert a yellow background between each answer. So we're going to try to combine the three things here that we need to do. Okay. And so when we watch this video, you'll hear the quiet on the set, blah, 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 blah. And then you'll hear the person who is asking the questions say, "What is your name?" As soon as we hear that question, "What is your name?" And before we hear Mr. Anderson give us his answer, we want to make sure that we pause the video. And it might take you a couple tries to get the pause right. Okay. So let's play this video and see what we got here.
Quiet on the set. Okay, what is your name?
Mr. Anderson?
Okay, I missed it. I went right back past his answer. And so I got to back this up and I got to try again. So that's what I mean. Sometimes you may, and sometimes maybe you want to listen to the answer and then back it up. So let's see if I can get it paused in the right place.
Quiet on the set. Okay, what is your name?
Okay, so I heard the question, "What is your name?" And I know that he's going to give me the answer next. Okay, so as soon as the question is done and I pause the video, I need to make a cut right there at that spot. Now I can go ahead and I can do the scissor where it splits your clip and I click it. And now I have two parts to this video. Okay, the part that I'm clicking on right there is the question. Okay. The question, if you look here, is "What is your name?" We don't want that question in our final project, okay? And so what we want to do is we want to put in a piece of yellow in place of the question. And it will make sense in a little bit here what we're doing. We're gonna just kind of learn the mechanics of it. We'll come back around and understand part of the why as we go. So I have to import in that yellow background. Okay. And so I've got a couple of them here. You can pick yours and add it in. And let's see, there it went. It went right in here. Okay. And so now I can click on the question and I can delete it because I have a yellow background in there. If I double click on that background and I go over to the length of that, it says that it's around 2 seconds. I can leave it at 2 seconds. That's fine. I know the directions say that it's 1 second, but leaving it at 2 seconds and 14 frames isn't going to do any harm. And so you can leave it at that. In fact, and if you wanted to, you could make it 3 seconds and 0 frames. It actually can be whatever length you want it to be. And again, if you want to see it better, change your zoom a little bit. I'm going to struggle a little bit with that just because this little box is in the way. I'm not sure I'm going to get it moved. Let's try down here. See if I can get it to go this way. Yeah, that's a little bit better for me. Okay, so there, now I can see that I've got a yellow background in there. Okay, so now what I actually have, I'm going to go back and change my yellow background length. I don't want mine to be that long. I'm okay with it being 1 second long. Okay, and there you see it. So if I go back to my playhead, move it back to the beginning, it's just going to show the background for 1 second.
Mr. Anderson?
And then I hear him say, "Mr. Anderson." Okay. And so the answer to the question now is to come back to your question and answer document. What is your name? And he says, "Mr. Anderson." So you type in "Mr. Anderson" because that's his answer. And you have to type it in word for word what he said. Okay. Now, as soon as you hear him say "Mr. Anderson" and you've recorded your answer, you need to pause the video again because you're going to get to the next question. What subjects do you teach in school? So again, we want to pause it after Mr. Anderson, but before the W of, or, where they say, "What subjects do you teach in school?" So, and again, this might take you more than one try.
What subjects do you teach in school?
Okay, so see, I heard it already and I went too far. So again, I'm going to back it up.
Mr. Anderson?
There, I paused it before I heard "what." Okay, so I make another cut. Do not throw away the answer. Leave the answer right there because that's the part you want to keep for your interview. Okay, so now I listen for the next question. what subjects do you teach in school? Okay, how do I know that's what they're going to say? Because that's the question we asked. I want to pause the video as soon as that person gets done asking the question, what subjects do you teach in school? And before he gives his answer, okay? Before he gives his answer, okay? And again, you might, I have to get something out of my bag here. You might have to pause and play it back a couple times in order to get that to actually work. Okay. And again, you can pause this video at any time that you want. And so that and then come back to it. So let's go back to Rush. What subjects do you teach in school? And then we want to pause the video. Okay. So let's play this again.
What subjects do you teach in school?
Oh, and he was really quick there. He's about ready to start talking. I might back that up just a tad. Okay, after that question, I make a cut. Okay, all right, now this is a question right here. We don't want the question to be part of this. So we want to put in that yellow background. Okay, we want to put in that yellow background. So my playhead, if I put my playhead right here, it should then insert the yellow background right where I have my playhead at. So I just go up here and there's my yellow background. I add it in. Oh, and it went down to the end. And that happens. So now I got to take it and I got to move it back to the beginning. I thought I moved my playhead. I'm going to copy it. Let me copy it. Oh, there we go. Let's just duplicate it. Oh, that won't work either. All right, let's try this again. Or the other thing to do is to change the size of your scroll so that you can see more of what you want. Okay, so what is this again?
Mr. Anderson?
Okay, so it goes right here. What's this say?
What subjects
do you teach in school? So maybe I can duplicate this one. Let's see if that'll work. Duplicate that one. There it is. And then I drag it and I put it down here. Okay, so let's see.
Mr.
Mr.
Anderson?
Anderson.
what subject?
So what subjects do you teach? I delete. So here's an answer and here's an answer. And between them is the yellow for 1 second. Okay. And so again, you can mess around with this and make it as long as you want. Yeah, mine's 1 second. So yeah, that's about the best I can get. Going to change my zoom a little bit. It's a little too much for me. You again, do what you want to do. Okay. And so now we are ready for the next answer. And this is what he says. How does he answer the question? What subjects do you teach in school? He's going to say, I teach AP American History. I have 2 classes of Hollywood versus history. And then I teach a tragedies class. And then I also do the senior internship students. So let's see if that's what he says.
Teach AP American History. I have 2 classes of Hollywood versus history, and I teach a tragedies class, and I also do all the senior internship students.
All right.
Okay. And so I paused it as soon as he finished his question, or excuse me, his answer. Okay. And that is where I'm going to make another cut in the video. Okay. So basically, after every answer and after every question, you make a cut. Okay. So now you have to take his answer. Okay.
History.
Oops. Let me go back to the beginning of it. Now let's close that thing up. So let's go back to the
I teach AP American History.
Okay, so he teaches AP. He says, I teach. So then you come back here and you type, I teach AP American History. And then he says, I have 2 classes of Hollywood versus history. And then I teach, see, that's what he says. He says, and then I teach a tragedies class. Whoa, spelling is going to get me. Tragedies class. And then I also do the, senior internship students. So, and then, this is supposed to be then. Yeah, you can have lots of, okay. And that's exactly what he says. And that's what you need to do. Okay. So you type out word for word what he says. So now what I have here, I now have Let's get it, zoom this back the other way. There we go. So this whole thing here, up into this cut, is his answer.
I have two classes of Hollywood versus history, and I teach a tragedies class, and I also do all the senior internship students. So.
All right.
Okay, so there it was. Now, when she talked a little bit too long at the end, I'm going to cut that off just a tad so I don't hear that. Okay, all right. So that's the end of a question. So at the end of the question, I need another yellow background. Okay, so I'm just going to duplicate this one, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it down here where that cut is, because after every question comes an answer. After every answer comes a question. So we're putting yellow between all his answers, and we're getting rid of all of his questions. Okay. So now let's start with this piece. Okay. Let's see what this is. This should be, if you go back to your script, should be where the question is how long you've been teaching. And this is an interesting one because he answers that question with the question. And then the interviewer says, yep. And then he answers the question. Okay. So let's talk about how you would do something like that if you saw that. Okay. So we go back to Rush. We're going to hear the question.
Hey, how long have you been teaching?
Teaching total?
Yeah. See, he says teaching total. He's asking for clarification. We're not cutting that out. Or we will cut it out. Okay. But we're not going to write that down as part of his answer.
25 years.
So he said 25 years, and that's his answer. So after the answer, okay, we make a cut, but we got to find where he started that at. Where did he say 25 years?
Yep.
Right there. Okay. So we make a cut, then we play it, and he's going to say 25 years.
25 years.
And then we make another cut. So this little piece right here is his answer, 25 years. So back here. How long you been teaching? He answers, teaching total. She says, yep. And the answer to the question is 25 years. Okay. So then you come back here to Rush and you see this part right here. Okay. That's the answer, right? This is the question.
How long have you been teaching?
Yep. So we get rid of the question. See, we've cut it out. We made our cuts. We cut it out. And then there it is. There's the yellow part right there that indicates that's where we ask the question. This is his answer. So behind the answer, take the yellow, duplicate it, and put it behind his answer. So then what's this? This is the next question. So if you come back over here, what is your favorite subject to teach and why? Okay. So what you have to do then is in Rush, you have to play this, okay? Let's see what it says.
Geez, what is your favorite subject to teach and why?
Okay, so there it is. What is your favorite subject to teach and why? And you know that it ends after why because this is what it says right here. So this is where you make a cut in the video, okay? So you come back here to Rush, you make a cut right here in the video. And what do you think you're going to put right there? You're right, a piece of yellow. So I'm just going to duplicate that one right there. And I'm going to take the one and I'm going to put it between those two. And so here is, what is this part right here? Let's listen.
Geez, what is your favorite subject to teach?
It's a question, right? Oop, I even actually put this in the wrong place. I don't think we actually need that yellow piece. So let's delete it again. So this is a question, right? This piece. Play it. If you're not sure, you can always just play it.
What is your favorite subject?
Right. What's your favorite subject to teach and why? So we made the cut. We delete it. So this now should be his answer.
I like history, American history. Like the other subjects, American history or history in itself continues to expand. All the other subjects stay stagnant, as I call it. We expand. You can find an artifact that will change, belief in what we had thought was true or not. So it's more interesting, I think.
And there he is. There he gave his answer right there. Okay. So when his answer is over, what do? You make a cut. And behind that answer is where you need to put a piece of yellow. Okay. Now you got to figure out how to get that piece of yellow in there, right? If I duplicate this one, it's going to be right there. So now I got to figure out how I'm going to get it down here. Will it go? Will it go? Will it go? Can I move it? Let's just move it up there for a little bit. And then I can keep going till I can find where I actually need it to go, which sometimes can be a little tricky. Let's see where I'm at. Didn't I make a cut?
Subjects stay stagnant, as I call it. We
Keep
expand.
listening to it.
You can find an artifact that will change,
Ah, there it is right there.
you know,
That's where I need it at. Let's see if I can get it down there. There it is. So I'm going to drag it down here and drop it in there because here's where he ends his answer. Okay. And so I put that in there. Okay. So now what you have to do is you have to take this whole answer.
students.
Here we go.
25 years.
And there's the next one.
I like history.
Okay. I like history. So back here, you got to start typing. I like history. American history. And what you actually have to do is you kind of like type and then you go back to Rush and you play.
American history. Why?
Why, that's what he said. And why, okay, then you go back and you play it again.
Like the other subjects,
Like the other
American
subjects.
history.
So then you go back like the other subjects, American history, and then you just keep typing. You just keep on typing, you keep on typing, you keep on typing, and you just keep on typing, and then he ends with, I think so. Okay? Again, pause this video, go back and do it yourself, and when you get to the I think so, then you make your cut and you stop this part. Okay? And then what you do is you have to do that for one more question. Okay, so if you come back to Rush and you come back here and you play this.
History in itself.
There it is right here. Okay, was the I think so end. And so now this should be a question. What's the question going to be? Question is going to be, do you enjoy teaching and why? Okay, do you enjoy teaching and why? So let's see if that's what's next.
Okay. All right. Do you enjoy teaching?
I do.
Why?
Okay, so you see he says I do, and then why. So we don't need the I do part. Just pause it after why and make your cut there. And then take another yellow piece, duplicate it, and move it in after that cut. Okay. And then this question, I guess I keep putting that in there. I don't have to put that in there. I always put that in there too soon. So we don't need that yellow piece there. So there's the question. Okay. That's this one right here. Question number 5, do you in teaching why? Okay. And so we have that question identified. We're going to delete it. And now you have
It's different every day.
It's different
Never the
every
same.
day. It's never the same. Okay. So when he gets done with his answer, you make your cut. And now you put the yellow in. I got it right this time. This one's a short distance, so we should be able to put it in there. And then you have to come back here and you have to type in his answer. I do. It's different every day. Okay. Now, and then I think he also says it's never the same. Okay. So you want to go back and you want to make sure that you have that all done. So see, now you have all the answers for steps 1 through 5. Okay. So now what you have to do is you have to just continue the process of cutting out the questions, putting in a piece of yellow, and editing in his and leaving his answer in there. Okay. And then, but what you don't have to do is continue writing out his answers. Okay. All you have to do is you just have to make the cuts in Rush. Okay. So if I were to continue to do this, it would look like
What
this.
other like extracurricular activities are you like involved in?
Just
So are there any extracurricular activities that you are involved in? Okay, so if you look at your question and answer document, that's right here. What other, and now we want to listen for his answer. Okay, but before we do that, we're going to make a cut. Okay, we're going to take that question, we're going to delete it. Okay, let's listen for his answer. It should read, I'm just down to coaching football. Used to coach 3 sports. just down to one now. Let's see if that's it.
Down to coaching football. I used to coach 3 sports and just down to one now. So
Okay, that's what he said. So after his answer, we cut it. Duplicate our yellow. Move it down after that cut. And now we should have the next question. 7. What other sports did you use to coach? Okay, so let's listen for that question.
Did you used to teach?
coaching girls basketball.
Oh, he said it real quick. Yep. What other sports did you use to coach? And he says girls basketball. And that came so quick, I missed the whole thing. So again, sometimes you just got to back it up.
Sports did you used to teach?
Yep. And so we're going to make a cut right there. Take the question out. We already got our yellow in its place. Okay. And so let's go down and listen to his answer. His answer should be, if we go back, we know exactly what he's going to say. What other sports? Coach girls basketball, boys basketball, Minnesota, and I've also coached track there also. So, and then what has been the greatest influence? So we're looking for stopping it at that point right there.
Coaching girls basketball and boys basketball. I did baseball in Minnesota. I also have coached track also. So.
There it is. So, okay, so we make a cut. Okay, so now the next question we should hear is what's been the greatest influence in your life? And he says it would be some of the teachers I had. So we want to pause it between the question and the answer.
What has been the greatest influence in your life?
Okay, so that's the question. So we make a cut. Okay, and then we want to duplicate that yellow and put it between where that cut was at and take out the question. And I might be in the wrong place. So again, you always got to go back and listen. What's this thing right here?
I did baseball in Minnesota.
I see. It's
I
gotta go
also
over
have
here.
coached track also. So.
What has been the
Yeah, it's this. When I take this out, it'll be in the right place. So there's question is now gone. Here's the answer to the question. What's been the greatest influence? You can read right here what you're going to listen for. The greatest influence would be some of the teachers that made me go into the field that I did. Next question, where have you all taught? So we need to pause between those two places.
Well, greatest influence I would be some of the teachers I think I had, which kind of made me go into the field that I did.
There it is. There's your answer. So you make a cut. Okay. And so now you need that piece of yellow again, right? Because it's going to go right in there. Okay. It's going to go right in there. All right. So let's duplicate it and let's get it down here because this then should be the question.
Where have you all taught at?
Where have you all taught at? I think I'm looking at my sheet to make sure. Well, I don't have to look at my sheet. There's one right here. Where have you taught at? So after where have you all taught at, we need to make a cut, don't we? Okay, let's back that up.
Where have you all taught at?
There we go. Okay, so we make a cut. So we get rid of the question, and then the answer that we have here, looks like it's going to be a little longer, should be, this is everywhere he taught. Then I came to Brandon. Okay, so let's see if it says I taught in Jasper, Minnesota.
I taught in Jasper, Minnesota my first year.
Yep, see right here, you
Yeah,
can
a little
follow
town
it
now
right
that's
along.
consolidated with Pipestone, if you know the area, southwest Minnesota.
Keep
Went to
going.
Guam. I taught in the Catholic school system in Sioux Falls. I was at Guam in the last 3 years of that for 10 years. And then came over to Brandon for the last 13 years, I believe.
And that's it. That yellow is, I put the yellow in there. I'm going to delete that. Okay. So if you go back, you now have all the answers to all of his questions. Okay. See how that works? You have all his answers to all of his questions. Okay. And so if you go back to the steps, you imported the interview video. You wrote out all the answers. You did not paraphrase. Remember, you do not paraphrase. Cut all the questions and delete them and put the yellow between all the answers. Make it about a second long. Okay. When done, the only thing that's left in Rush will be all the answers to the questions with yellow between them. And if you go back and you look at what you did, that's exactly what you did. And that will get you to the end of step number 5.